In the next 30 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to build a $1 million one-person business completely from scratch. To do this 2 years ago, you would need an endless budget, a huge tech team, and venture capital. Now this can all be done with one person in a Claude subscription. They're failing because they're using AI for one task at a time instead of building actual systems around it. We've built systems like these for over 50 businesses through AI drivers, the company you're about to see me walk through. This video is for anyone who's trying to do more and make more in less time.
Quick note before we start, the framework I'm walking you through today is the exact same one I use to build AI drivers. So, and this framework works for any business that fits the 3 filters I'm about to show you. And don't worry, I'll point out exactly where it would change for a different vertical. So I'll be ticking these off as we go, and we'll start with the first checkpoint, which is the offer itself.
Starting with the offer is crucial because if the offer can't sell, nothing else you do matters. So the 3 filters every offer needs to pass before I even consider it are going to be: 1, is it objectively a good offer? So is the value actually provable? Does the price accurately reflect the value that the consumer would be receiving? It's very important to identify whether this offer can sell off of pure logistics or if there needs to be emotion and hype baked into it in order for it to sell. These emotion-based offers, these offers that cannot sell based off of pure and utter logistics, are not going to make you $1 million. They're not going to be a one-person business. They're not even really going to go very far because they don't actually solve problems. They don't actually provide value to the people purchasing them. The second filter: can this offer scale into cold traffic or paid traffic? Offers that only work off of warm audiences or referrals or intros to people or work off your connections, that's fine. Do whatever you want to do with that. But if you cannot get a random person on the street to understand what it is that you do and why they would need it, obviously assuming this is your ICP, it's not going to work on cold traffic. And if it doesn't work on cold traffic, chances are you're not going to be able to scale it to $1 million. Look, $1 million is a lot of money, and in order to reach that number, you need to be able to buy attention outside of you. It needs to be larger than you. The offer can't be under a specific person if we're talking about a real business, a real conglomerate of an offer. And then filter number 3, are you in a growing market or is it in a declining, or honestly, if it's a standstill market, technically it's declining. Right now, if you have no offer at all, or if you currently have an offer, you need to be able to identify whether your market is actually shrinking or if it is growing. The thing about tailwind offers is, by the nature of what they do, they are going to be elevated when the market is growing in their favor. For example, AI. You slap AI on the name of anything and now it's just 20% better. That's because AI as a whole is rapidly growing. So anything that's built on top of AI or is around AI is now going to receive that tailwind effect of just being naturally elevated by the rest of the market. So being in a market that is growing is one of the most important decisions you can make, especially if you're starting this offer completely from scratch. So those are the 3 filters. Now let me show you what this actually looks like in practice. I'm gonna walk you through an offer I killed before AI drivers existed, and then I'm gonna walk you through AI drivers itself. When my co-founder Cabrin and I started thinking about what eventually became AI drivers, the initial idea was to have a SaaS-style platform that would give businesses access to these AI agent capabilities. It did look profitable on paper. There's recurring revenue, the AI space is growing, so it's a tailwind offer, and businesses have more demand than ever to get access to AI capabilities as a whole. But that answer changed after we ran it through the 3 filter test. It passed filter 2 because cold traffic 100% buys SaaS. That's perfect. It passed filter 3 because AI is the most rapidly growing market in the world right now. But it actually failed filter 1. It's not objectively a good offer. Because when we actually thought about it, business owners don't want another SaaS tool. They want access to AI capabilities. So why does that make the SaaS idea not pass that first filter of being objectively good? This won't save business owners time, maybe in the long run, but now they have to be sold on a new software that in their eyes looks no different from every other software that there is. The actual performance of the software might not be the best, especially if they're not using it correctly. And the most important thing is these business owners, they don't care to actually learn and create agents and know how to use AI. They want it being done for them. So we completely killed the SaaS idea and built AI drivers as actual agents that are installed into businesses. They are controlled by the business, they're completely owned by the business, and we can come in and set them up and configure them exactly how their business runs today, while also prepping them for the future to ensure that they're using AI in the most effective way possible. So now this is a completely different offer. There's different positioning, of course different pricing, and the fulfillment model is inherently different as well. Everyone's saying that apps are outdated, no one is going to be using apps anymore, they're only going to be using the agents. Quite frankly, as a whole, businesses don't want to rent capability anymore. First of all, they want to own their agents, and second, they want the agents to actually live inside of their business, not on a platform that they have to pay a monthly subscription to. If we didn't run this filter test, we would have wasted weeks and months and thousands of hours going just completely wrong direction. But we did look at the 3 filters and we built a way better offer, a way better AI drivers. So what did AI drivers actually come out to be? Instead of a platform, it is now a business growth service through AI itself. We deploy production-ready AI agent teams that handle marketing, sales, operations, all end-to-end into service and product businesses. And it passes all 3 filters. So first, get clear on those 3 filters, because the rest of this video and the rest of anything else you do for that business does not matter unless that offer passes all 3 filters.
Okay, so now we have a locked offer that passes all 3 filters, so we can officially cross that off. But here is the second most, and maybe even first most important step, actually validating the offer. And this is something that almost everyone just loves to brush past. They want to completely blow over, go right into creating their branding, landing page, all these things that will just completely waste months of their time if they never actually validated the offer beforehand. You don't validate the offer after you build it out. You validate the offer before. The market validates the offer first, then you position around what the market already wants. The market wants an AI SaaS for businesses, and I find out that the market doesn't want that. I'm not gonna force AI SaaS for businesses to the market. I'm gonna look at what the market actually wants and position myself around that and deliver it to them. The solution was adopting AI and building AI systems for our internal processes of our respective businesses. So we built these systems and we were utilizing it for our agencies, but we noticed the same conversations kept coming up when we talked to other business owners. Everyone and their mom wanted to use AI for its fullest capabilities. They wanted to get the most out of AI as possible, but they didn't want to learn even the simple basics of it. But they were willing to pay a lot of money to have it just working for their business. They wanted AI implemented for their business by people who actually knew how to do it. So what actually happened? Well, when we launched AI drivers, we actually had 12 clients sign up for our first cohort. How can that actually be done, especially now? And especially assuming you don't have an offer, or you have an offer but you want to improve it significantly. Well, first, what you can do is find proof that somewhere in the market, people are already paying for this exact service, or paying for a similar service, better yet, paying for a service that would be worse than what you're actually providing. That's actually what we did. We saw people were paying 5 figures for these OpenClaw installations. This is right when OpenClaw came out, paying 5 figures just to have it installed. What did we do? People are paying a lot of money for a little bit of result. Why don't we give them a lot of result for relatively a little bit of money to what they're already paying? That's what we did. Now take that proven thing and add your own unique mechanism. Now, what else did we actually do? Full product built out. Well, you start by getting at least one person to pay you something for you to build it for them. Tell them it's unproven, give them a discount, get someone to help you, pay you to build it for them. 1, gives you a little bit of cash. 2, it makes your actual product better because now you're working with live data instead of just building off of theory. With AI drivers, Cabrin and I did over 6 figures in actual profit, in actual sales before we ever turned on cold marketing. This because we actually had an offer that worked. We proved the offer worked. We validated the offer with real warm traffic, with people we knew, referrals, this and that. And then we roll that over to paid. All the stuff that we learned. If we went paid right out the gate, you know how much money we would have wasted? We now have much more clarity on our offer and what people actually need. So now our ad campaigns are only going to be that much more profitable and that much more effective. So along with those, another thing you can do is check your competitors, right? See what's happening in the space. This will also help with validating the actual offer, or maybe improving it further from what's currently being offered to the masses. And you actually validated it. You actually have an offer that is validated by the market. You're positioning yourself to give the market what it's already asking for, rather than trying to get it to want what it's not currently asking for. Now we actually get into the build phase of the offer.
So the landing page is actually the last thing that I would build. It's actually backwards from the way most people go about starting a new business. But the back end actually matters first. This is where all of the potential clients are going to go through anyways. Before the client says yes to your product and after the client says yes to their product. So these are the two things that I would actually build first. The product itself. What you said it does, it has to actually do it. And it has to actually do it without taking all of your time. If right now your product is actually just you, your thoughts, your time, your energy, then all you have is a high-paying job. You're not gonna be able to scale it. It's not a real business. So from the booking, the call, the contract, the first payment, the route to actually fulfilling that product for that customer. Yes, branding and colors and all this stuff do matter down the line, but they aren't blockers to getting someone to actually pay you for a service or a product and you providing that service or product to them.
So right here, I have an empty template of our exact pipeline. This is in our CRM. Obviously, this is not our actual pipeline. I'm using this as an example, so I just created this example contact, and I'm just gonna walk you through each stage of this pipeline and what causes. So starting with the new inquiry. This is going to be for any new inquiry, any person that filled out a form or got a lead magnet or clicked a button from an ad. All of those leads, businesses, people, whatever it is, they will land in the new inquiry. Based on their questions, they're either gonna be brought into this qualified bucket or they're going to be brought into this non-qualified bucket. Now, only the qualified people are going to be able to actually book a call. We'll have our proposals that we sent out. From there, if they accept this scope of work, they are now a customer and they are officially out of our sales pipeline. Now, a CRM with some pipeline stages alone is not valuable. It's only valuable if one, the leads can move through it automated, and two, everything that happens in this CRM is in sync with everything else happening on the email side, on the application side, on the onboarding side, on the fulfillment side. Everything needs to work together in order for this whole system to not only run without you having to touch it, but for you to be getting, accurate information and for it to actually take significant time off your plate. For example, this form that you guys are seeing right here, this is for obviously our application. And we're using iClose. This one kind of has the application and the calendar all in one. That's what we wanted. So in here, we have a bunch of rules. Obviously, this is basic stuff. I'm not going to touch too much on here, but you'll want to set up your calendar, and that booking software that you're using needs to be connected to your CRM. When someone books a call, they need to automatically populate here in the discovery call booked. Now, emails. This is a very simple email sequence. This is for our pre-call nurture. Again, gloss over everything and show you how they all work together. People land on the landing page, they fill out the application's through here, their answers are then graded, whether it's qualified or unqualified. If they are qualified, when they book a call, now here's where our pre-call nurture campaign comes in, and we have the post-call, and we have the rescheduling nurture. We have all the different sequences. You just want to make sure that this is properly connected to your CRM, and most of the time that's going to need to be done through something like Zapier, something like Make. You can see right here, they book the call, we filter based on the offer, and then now they're in our CRM, and now they're in our active campaign. You don't only want to automate the before they say yes to your offer, to your product, whatever it is, and you want to automate the after section. So we use WAP as our payment process. When a WAP payment comes through, so when we collect the payment, we now filter, is this a recurring payment? Is this their first payment? Are they done with you? Are they done for you? And all of the emails, all of the routing, everywhere where that leads, everything that needs to be done after they purchase is all going to be done from the actions that then happen in this Zap. They receive everything without us having to do anything. Very important if you actually plan on having, again, if you want to have a business that can make $1 million, you need to have these things done, because at scale, this is literally impossible to handle as one single person. So what used to happen was you'd hire out all of these different tasks. that is now obsolete. You can now get AI and a certain amount of tools to do these tasks, and you just focus on the high level stuff, growing the business further, and everything else follows perfectly behind you. All right, so now we have the back end set up. We move on to the copy, and with the copy comes the actual landing page as well. Now the copy is obviously crucial. It's what's going to turn your just offer into an actual sale. So if you mess up on the copy, chances are your conversions are going to be very low. Not only could just your conversions be low, but maybe leads are showing up to calls uneducated. They don't know what you actually sell. They're not properly framed to be buyers for your business. That is what your copy is supposed to do. So these are the 5 things that I check every piece of copy for. First is going to be your hook. And this isn't a social media hook. This has to pay off why they landed on the page. If the ad promised them something, the headline needs to pick up from where that ad left off. As soon as you get vague, you're now getting ignored, they click off, they go back to scrolling. Everything needs to be in line. Now the structure of the copy has to walk them through the entire process, honestly, of your business. It has to frame them for what you're going to be telling them on the call. So you need to introduce their problem. You need to explain why that problem is as big of a problem as it actually is. You need to explain why what you're offering solves that problem, why you're the person to solve that problem, and why your solution is better than the other solutions elsewhere. And of course, you can't forget your proof, any testimonials, any results, or anything you have. You want to make sure you're displaying that as well. And then leave them off with a dystopian outlook on what their life or what their business would look like if they don't work with you. Now, the third thing is going to be proof. The proof needs to be real, obviously. The proof needs to be specific to what you're offering, can't be vague. Number 4, your CTA, plain and simple. You need to have a clear CTA that clearly directs them to take a clear action. And number 5 is extremely important and oftentimes gets ignored. That is your voice. You need to be able to read your entire landing page out loud and not cringe by how it sounds. It needs to sound normal. If your copy doesn't sound like it's coming from a person, the people reading it aren't going to read it as if it's coming from a person. It's not going to register the right way. So here is an offer brief and prompt for an example business. It's an online fitness coach, easy example, named Sarah. Here's some basic information. Now, I took this same exact prompt and I put 1 into just a regular Claude chat, and I put 1 into the Vault. So we can see right here from the Claude output, we got a weak headline, nothing really crazy about it. Subheadline is way too bloated, way too long. I mean, this is a whole paragraph, so obviously that won't fly as a subline. And right now, look at the actual copy that's being used. Obviously there's M dashes everywhere. That's the, very basic sign of that something is AI generated. Also right here, you can see you downloaded the app that 10,000 women supposedly transformed with. So already, supposedly, that just is telling me that it didn't have that actual statistic. If you look at the prompt, we mentioned nothing about 10,000 women. So you can see this is hallucinated, and I guess it covered its tracks by saying supposedly. Obviously, you wouldn't want to use this on your website. And to be fair, this is a normal Claude chat, just like how everyone uses Claude. You paste the prompt in and you get the output. You're probably going to spend some good time going through revisions through this Claude output. Now, I took the same prompt and I ran it against the Vault. So to start, we have a much more direct, much more digestible headline, I guess countable headline. I'm not sure the exact term for it, but this is something that people can actually quantify. They can actually visualize this, as opposed to lose the fat, build the strength in 45 minutes a day. This 12 weeks, 45 minutes a day, lose fat and get genuinely strong. Again, still could have some changes maybe, but way better start. Obviously the subheadline, whether this is still maybe a little bit too long, way better than the initial paragraph that we were working with. That wouldn't fly anyways. This still might be too long, maybe not. We'd have to see how it actually looks like on the landing page. Obviously the CTA is going to be consistent between the both. I think on this one, we didn't have consistent CTAs, book your free strategy call, see if we're a fit. You want to just have the same CTA, and you want that CTA to be clear and direct. What are they doing? They are booking their free strategy call. Now you can see obviously there's No M dashes in sight. Again, this is a very basic, this should be a rule. Even if you're not using a sophisticated internal system for your AI, even if you're using a basic LLM, at least tell it to not use M dashes. I can't stand looking at an M dash. We also have a more natural and kind of specific proof line of, hey, I put 47 women through this program in the last 18 months, average client loses 14 pounds, etc., etc. Here's what I want you guys to keep in mind about all of this. First off, CTAs. They want to be clear, right? You want to be direct, clear CTA, and you want them to be the same. If you have multiple buttons for the CTA, you want it to be the same. You don't want to confuse your person. 12 weeks, 45 minutes a day. They're going to lose fat and get genuinely strong. Would I beef that up a little bit? Yes, but I like the actual structure of this headline. Very good structure. Maybe, honestly, I would just change like these last 3 words, I would think, and make it something else. And for the sections below the fold, so the actual body where it's more copy heavy and it's reiterating on things and it's taking them through the things, this paints a way more vivid picture and gives me a way better understanding. And maybe I'm being biased. I honestly think it's more trustworthy copy than when I read this, where it won't read the same. When you're actually reading this, it just won't read the same, and it won't convert as well, and it won't frame the buyer as well. Again, not only do you want the copy to convert, but especially if you guys aren't D2C, if you're not direct to checkout in your funnel, if your funnel leads to a call or leads to a webinar or whatever, your copy needs to properly frame them for that next step. Very important. So now that our copy is actually done, we are now getting sales, right? We have a locked in offer, right? We validated that offer against the market. We built out all of the back-end systems for before they say yes to the proposition, the offer, the service, the product, whatever it is. And we built out the back end for after they say yes. And obviously the copy is what's selling them. The landing page is the vehicle they're using to actually get sold. So now that we're done with all of these, we move on to actually delivering on what you promised, delivering what you sold to people. And that's going to be fulfillment in the operations and having them running.
This is where most one-person businesses fall apart. You can sell through the copy and you can have the best offer, fancy landing page, but if you fail to deliver, nothing else matters. Your business is gonna fall apart. First is going to be the blockers to actually getting a client or a customer. So CRM, call booking, basic apps, emails, that is stuff that you need to be running before you can even scale at all. Second, we need to cover what actually happens immediately after a sale. Immediately after a payment is received, what then happens to the customer? So whether that's sending out a contract, whether that's giving them onboarding information, pushing them to a community. Third is going to be fulfillment. So whatever you actually promised, actually fulfilling on, whether that's a service, whether that's delivering a product, whether that's completing a build. You can't do fulfillment first if you don't have any clients to even fulfill. So there's no point in you truly worrying about it. You need to make sure you can do what you're telling people you're gonna do. But in terms of systemizing your fulfillment, don't worry about that until you actually got clients through the door. This is the same reason why I don't recommend building a funnel and building a landing page before you have a dialed in offer. Because there's no point in building out all that stuff when you don't even know if your offer is actually validated. You're a business owner. You want to be a one-person business owner, right? So you need to be able to figure these things out. The same goes for when you want to automate things. You still need to follow a specific process. The first things that should be automated are things that repeat. So again, these are emails, these are messages, these are delivering your product as soon as someone pays, or adding someone into a community as soon as they pay. Whatever it is, then you move on to anything that doesn't need human judgment. So maybe it doesn't happen on a day-to-day basis, maybe it's not even a week-to-week basis, but these are different things that when it comes up, it's a task that needs to be done but doesn't require actual human judgment. Then you want to move on to more of the fulfillment side, more of the customer communication side, anything that doesn't cause the client to lose something if they talk to a machine. There are a lot of basic things the client might have where you don't need a human to answer it. It can be properly answered by a machine, by an AI, whatever it is. Or this could just be having a doc that they can, as a reference sheet that they can look at, whether it's a client, whether it's a customer, whatever it is. Now, what needs to actually stay manual longer? Well, First off, for the most part, sales processes, they need to stay manual. Yes, you can have automated setters if your business even needs setters. Everything sales related, that should stay manual. That should be done by a human. Communication to customers and clients, that should be done by a human. And even if you want to offload some of that, it should truly be things that will have no negative effect. They truly do not need a human for this, automated. But try and keep human sales, which still is customer and client communication. It's lead communication. Client communication, sales, those are things you want to keep manual for as long as possible, as long as you can. When you have multiple clients, multiple customers, and you start having account managers or CSMs, those are things you want to have. They benefit from the human touch. So you want to think, what benefits the most from being automated? Don't waste your time focusing on things that automation as a whole should deliver ROI. If it doesn't deliver a real ROI right now, do not worry about it. I promise you, you will know when it actually will deliver an ROI. Now, these systems are crucial to a business's growth, and that's why we've built these and not only used them for our business, but deployed them to other businesses as well. So this can be content audits, whether it's organic, whether it's paid ads, running an audit on the performance in real time and having that as a continuous closed loop that then also creates new creatives to be made based off of those new findings. So our vault can cover and facilitate audits on the organic content, audits on the ads, paid advertising. It can facilitate the production of content, whether that's long form, short form. It covers SEO, client information storage, sales management, landing page copy. You need to build these systems for your own business to use. Let me give you a real example that saves a tremendous amount of time and money. We have a sales review system. So every single call that is conducted on behalf of the company is automatically recorded. Every single sales rep has their own note taker. So when that call is done, that note taker transcribes the entire call and creates a summary of the entire call. Can help us save time, make more money, and have more clarity of what's actually going on. You need to take actionable steps and make decisions off of real data. Another example is onboarding. For my marketing agency, anytime I would sign a client, I was able to scrape and research their entire public image, everything that has ever been on the internet at any point in time, even if it's deleted now. I can take all of that research, all of their YouTube videos, all of their Instagram reels, and I can consolidate that information into a client informational doc. On top of that, when someone would sign, we send them a list of questions, get them, onboarded onto all the softwares, send them a 10-minute voice memo, essentially requesting information that we feel could be better based off what we already scraped. So it's just all of these different things. You need to be able to architect and think about these things and actually put them into motion for your business. I promise you the ROI on setting up these internal systems is infinite.
Can fulfill on the promise you are giving to people. What do we need now? Now we need people to make that offer to. Marketing. If you already have an audience, start there. It's free, it's faster, they already trust you. Just start there and build around that pre-existing audience. If you don't have an audience, go straight into paid ads. Do not try and build your own audience to then sell. Do that, you need to be making money. So you can't bank that off of the success of a personal brand. That's technically two different projects you're trying to do. Start the ads. You need to get the ads going right away. That's how you're gonna get customers. That's how you're gonna get a feedback loop. That's how you're actually gonna have a business. And starting with paid ads should not be an issue for you because you not only validated the offer, but you also passed it through one of the filters, which is being optimized for cold traffic. It's something that can work with cold traffic. It can scale through paid ads. If you get scared when you hear me say you need to run paid ads, that means you don't have a good offer. The days of creating a personal brand and then selling under that personal brand, not only were they short, but they're over. You can still do that, yes. That's not the path of a business. It's not, let me create a personal brand so I can sell a bunch of junk to people who like me and are buying just because of the personal brand. It's not how it works, okay? You need to have a real business and start scaling it with paid immediately and then build your personal brand alongside with it. So very simple. If you have an audience, start with that audience. And then very quickly, you're probably gonna have to go to paid. And if you don't have an audience, don't start with the audience you don't have. Don't try and make an audience. Do that on the side. Start with paid. So both paths lead to paid advertising. Now, when it comes to actually doing the marketing, so like creating ad creatives, creating even organic pieces of content, creating copy like I talked about earlier, I use the agents in the Vault. We have a copywriting agent, we have the ads agent, we have the landing page agent, we have the content agent. That's what I use. If you don't have a Vault-like infrastructure, you're not using our Vault, please do not just use Claude or any LLM for that matter, bare bones. It's not going to work. Get some sort of system set up where you can have a bunch of context and you can have the brand voice guidelines, you can have all these things. So you can see right here, actually, we popped up to a couple of agents we have. So let me show you, obviously, we have Obsidian right here. You guys have seen this. This is just a template of the Vault we provide. Now, what do we have? We have ads, we have copywriting, landing page, newsletter, offer. All of these things are fueled and have all of these files, all of this context that are actually fueling each of these agents. So you can see for ads specifically, you have, example strategy doc. We have the ad strategies, the audience strategy, the campaign management, the creative frameworks, hook formulas, all of this stuff. And I can go through it for every single agent. They all work together. They all have the context that they actually need to operate productively. And just to be clear, when you guys see people showing all of these obsidians, these big orbs, all it is just a display, a visual display of files. So you might look at this, oh, his orb is in a huge mass cluster of orbs. Yeah, if I just choose all the files on my computer, I can make it look like that too. This is an organized, actually income producing asset that people are using, multiple business owners are using today to make more money. So I don't care about all the visual stuff. The last set, again, this is a one-person business, right? The last thing is going to be your time allocation. How do you properly use your very short waking hours to effectively run a one-person business and ultimately make the goal of $1 million?
So here's how I split my day and how I recommend that you split your day, whether you currently have a business or if you're starting one. Either way, I think this should apply to everyone. My day has two halves. The first half is going to be administrative, maintenance-related things as it relates to the business, obviously. The second half is going to be growth-focused things. So for the first half, I'm doing anything that's reactive. Responding to emails, what did a customer say, what did a client say, doing my meetings with people I work with, fixing broken things. The second half is growth-focused. So this can be new systems, this can be new offers, maybe this is recording content. These are things that you're not getting the result of the day you do it, but you're getting it in the future. Now, I recommend handling administrative day-to-day things in the morning and pushing the growth stuff to the afternoon towards the end of the day. Because when you're working on growth stuff, you want to be uninterrupted. You want to just get in a flow, and that's where it's gonna take you down these rabbit holes, take you down these spirals, maybe you're staying up late, whatever it is. At the end of the day, front load what you need to do for these internal systems to get them built and to get them running in your business. On the back end of that, you're gonna have infinite time that has now been saved, and you're gonna be in a much happier place. So with that being said, we can now officially click off time allocation. And that, my friends, is how you can start, you can scale whatever you want to do, one-person business using AI. Most people get it wrong because they ask AI what they should do, and then they go do whatever AI told them to do, whether that's Claude, doesn't matter what it is. You should always maintain that leadership. The quality of your outputs are one-to-one correlated to obviously the system you're running them on, but two, the direction you're actually giving AI. And the better your system, the less direction you actually have to give it. So that's prompting, all this stuff. You actually have to do less because it already has that context. That's why we use the Vault. That's why you should have internal databases and internal systems for your business. So go through exactly those steps, and if you want help anywhere in the process, or you want your business to be automated, or you want your business to be audited, or you need clarity on how you can map AI to your exact business, or you simply want to use an infrastructure like the Vault so you can get better outputs, we do have a link in this description. You can book the call, you can talk with me, we can get on the phone, we can see what you're looking at. Serious inquiries only, obviously. Don't waste my time, don't waste your time. Again, this is, I would say, if you don't have a business, probably don't want to book a call. I would recommend, you have a business, and honestly, you probably know what needs to be done. You need AI over here, or you need AI in general, but you don't know where to actually implement it. That's where I can help with. Other than that, continue to watch YouTube, continue to watch videos I have, plenty of other quality creators on this app as well. But just get things going. Follow the process, don't overthink it, get a good offer. As long as you have a good offer, promise you're gonna make money. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow me on Instagram. I'll see you in the next one.